men, women, they actually squeeze your privates.
Well,
So
I had it done to me, and they don't squeeze you. They didn't do that to me, but they actually go into your groin so close that they actually go down through your groin and almost to your anus.
okay, well, now, sir,
On the that's what was done to me a couple weeks ago, the last straw for me.
okay, well, since then, sir, this is mainstream news. We broke this a few weeks ago. People couldn't believe it. It's now all over the news. They actually stick their hand into your pants and grab your genitals.
Well, I can't believe these people would do it that work for TSA. They're okay with what they're doing?
They say, "Oh, we're professionals," and
Well,
I'm.
you know what it is, Alex, and let's tie it into the JFK show right now. We have a confession tonight that people, for the first time in history, will hear someone confess to the murder of John Kennedy. And I'll just say this is a spine-chilling confession. It hits me right in the gut when it happens every time I look at it. And what hits me the most out of it is this, Alex. The person confessing is not confessing out of shame. The person is proudly confessing. The person believes that what they did in killing our president, that our country benefited from it in the long run. And that's truly the chilling part of the show, is that these people that work for our government now believe that what they're doing is in the best interest of our country. Because this guy that participated in murdering our president, that's the attitude he has. It's not a confession of sorrow. It's a confession of, I want the world to know what we did, because we're proud of it.
Stay there, Governor. Big, long segment coming up. Let's get into this in more detail. This is chilling and groundbreaking. It airs tonight, 9 o'clock Central. Stay with us.
We're on the march. The Empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
You may be arrested and/or subject to other police action.
Tyranny is here. The grim future foretold in 1984 has become reality.
It really says that the state is God.
The United States is now recognized globally as one of the most oppressive police states on earth. This film conclusively proves the existence of a secret network of FEMA camps, now being expanded nationwide. This documentary exposes how the continuity of government program has established an all-powerful shadow state. Police State 4 chronicles the sickening depths to which our republic has fallen. Prepare to enter the secretive world of emergency dictatorship. Body scanners, sound cannons, citizen spies, stage terror, and cameras on every street corner. It's only the beginning of the New World Order's hellish plan. The police state isn't coming. It's here. Secure your copy today at Infowars.com or see it online in the highest quality at PrisonPlanet.tv.
Hello, Alex Jones has told you about the delicious, safe, easy-to-fix, and very storable food from eFoods Direct. He's also told you that eFoods Direct has the best food on the planet. Well, here's the great news. It's that time of year, and their holiday special is here. 2 holiday-priced packs for you to put into your reserve for a secure future or share with others. The first is a 6-month bulk supply in number 10 cans, and the second is a 5-week supply of quick and easy meals, including delicious bakery items shipped in heavy-duty totes. Both are special values for the holidays. When you order 2 or more of these special holiday packs, you'll get free shipping on the entire order. These holiday packs are always special combinations of food that are not available at any other time of the year. Call 800-409-5633 on the web, efoodsdirect.com/Alex. That's 800-409-5633 on the web, efoodsdirect.com/Alex.
Hundreds of nations have fallen to tyranny in the last century alone. This is our last chance to not relive history.
As they're finishing off this agenda, they'll be pulling the rug from underneath Americans at home.
They have tremendous influence on our president and Congress, and they really are calling the shots.
I think it's incumbent upon all of us as American citizens to pay attention.
Fall of the Republic identifies the enemies of our nation, the criminal offshore cartel, hell-bent on destroying sovereignty, and on its ashes constructing world government.
Tim Geithner, Bernanke, they're arsonists. They're asking for more matches. And the Congress is saying, who do we make the check out to?
Today seems like nobody does care. And right now in Washington, D.C., we have seen a fall of the Republic.
Get your copy of Fall of the Republic on DVD at Infowars.com or watch it online right now in super high quality at prisonplanet.tv.
Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. Live from Austin, Texas, broadcasting worldwide, it's Alex Jones.
Well, you heard it here first. Former Governor Jesse Ventura got a top-rated TV show, and he's saying he doesn't even know if he can do it again next year because he's not going through the TSA. Well, my wife and children aren't going through. I'm going to continue to fly, but I guess they're going to have to throw me out because they're not putting their hands on my genitals. They're not putting their hands down my pants. I'm not going in the radiation cooker. Napolitano sourced the John Hopkins as saying the scanners were safe when the federal government's own bodies say it's not. And then the John Hopkins head of radiology came out, the doctor, Mr. Love, and told AP, we didn't tell him that. That's not true. They'd been on record saying repeated doses of this will give you skin cancer, bare minimum. It is x-rays. And what about the TSA workers that are around it all day? And we know they're firing TSA workers that don't want to do this. Over and over again, when they stick their hands in your pants, they say...
Alex, let me interject something, though. You won't have to necessarily worry about that because, if you go through and you don't set off the metal detector, it's the same as always.
No. TSA's now announced in the Chicago Tribune that they do plan to have scanners everywhere and phase out metal detectors altogether. You're right for now, Governor, but no.
Well, right now, see, the only reason I did it is because I had the surgery where they put the metal in my body. So I can't, no matter, I could walk through naked and it's going to go off because it's inside my body. But if you go through and you don't have any metal on you and you strip down the way they tell you, put your shoes on there and all that, you can still travel normal. If I was faced with only that, I would continue to fly.
But it's traumatic watching. I was in San Jose 3 weeks ago, and for 20 minutes drinking coffee after I'd gone through, Governor, I only watched women and children, no men. I saw them feeling up year-old, 2-year-old babies. It happened to one of my employees, Michelle, to her 20-month-old baby to her. They had a man search Michelle that works in my office. I mean, Governor, this is just, they're breaking every taboo, but I'm sorry. You got back to the raw exercise of power, how the TSA say they're proud of what they're doing. Same thing with this deathbed assassin confession. This is a famous villain. This is a famous, well-known character. What was the term you used off-air?
I don't recall.
I mean, you described.
I don't remember.
You described him really well, though, because it'll be exposed tonight as a.
Well, and the thing is about this person, he's proud of it. This is not a confession of sorrow. It's not a confession of I want to apologize to America that we killed your president. It's a confession of wait a minute, I want credit for this. Because we made America a better place by killing your president. By taking the vote away from you and putting it into a trigger finger instead of a ballot. And that's the real scary part about it on the show tonight. And, there's fun parts of the show, too. We retrace the exact route that Oswald took when he left the bookstore and was subsequently arrested in the theater. And that in itself is bizarre. It makes no sense. And so people will watch that. It'll be very interesting.
You also, as an expert marksman in the Navy SEALs who shot expert, you tried to recreate what Oswald supposedly did, and you couldn't.
No, I couldn't even. You couldn't come close, Alex, because of the fact can't work the bolt fast enough and get on target. Once you go to work the Mannlicher Carcano bolt,
it's a piece of junk.
The telescopic sight was like a thin cigar. And this is identical to what they showed as the killing weapon. Well, when you do the bolt for the second and third shots, which allegedly he missed the first shot anyway, so I would miss the first shot on purpose, except for the last time. I did it 4 times. The last time I did it just to show that the first shot would be the best. I said this time, instead of missing the first shot on purpose, I'm going to shoot the silhouette of Jackie right between the shoulder blades, and I did it with the first shot to show how accurate you would be with the first shot. But then subsequently, working the bolt takes you off target.
Yes.
Well, the fastest I could do the bolt was 8.6 seconds, and they're claiming Oswald did it in 6 flat.
Now,
You're almost 3 seconds faster than I could.
So it took you 8 seconds to...
It took me 8.6 just to do the bolt, and that's blindly shooting. You can't even get on target. That's just to be able to get the rounds out, Alex.
Yeah, that's firing the 2 rounds.
Well, the 3. The initial round, and then the 2 that come after.
Sure, you just got to do the bolt, though, twice.
Now, I did score a headshot. But let's remember, my targets will not be moving or declining. Mine were stationary. They were the identical length of the Warren Commission stated. We measured them off, and I go up in a big lift. So I'm at the exact shooting position that they claimed Oswald shot from. But the difference, my targets were not moving, his were, and I couldn't even do it to targets that were not moving.
Sure, just to be specific, though, I know there were 3 shots. I'm saying 1 shot where you already have the round chambered, and then twice that you had to do the bolt. That took over 8 seconds.
Took 8.6 seconds. That was my fastest. That was the fastest one. We did it 4 times.
Well, you know what the Italians called that rifle, the humane rifle.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm aware of it. Yeah, no, we had Dr. Fetzer was with us when we did it.
And you also interviewed Jim Mars.
Yep.
Great guy.
We talked to Jim right in the theater. And Jim will reveal stuff tonight that's very interesting.
Let's talk
extremely interesting about what... Well, here's one interesting thing you got, Alex, on food for thought of common sense. Now, you've just had the murder of the president. A little while later, you have a murder of a police officer on the street. Now, the only phone call made was that someone went into the movie theater and didn't buy a ticket. Now, if that happened in that sequence of order, the murder of the president, a half hour later the murder of a police officer, and a half hour later somebody don't buy a ticket to go into a theater, how come nearly 20 cops and 8 or 9 squad cars arrived to arrest a guy who didn't buy a ticket to the theater?
Well, normally, especially in 1963, they would just send in the theater manager to throw you out or demand you buy a ticket.
Well, not only that, but as a police dispatcher, you got the president murdered out there. You got a police officer shot dead on the street. You're going to dispatch 20 cops to a movie theater?
No, it shows it was all staged.
It was all staged. I believe that Oswald was supposed to die in the theater. And I think that's where the screw-up came up, that they were going to get him and kill him there for resisting arrest. And that way they do him in there. But then something went afoul, I believe.